and I are gonna do a version of a pick 5 for our challenge this week. So I just wanted to quickly show you what I have pulled to use. I have some of these cork hearts in my stash that I would like to use, along with these enamel dots. I have these titles left over from Great Paper Poolside collection. And I'm also going to pull out my Oasis collection as well. And the last thing that I would like to use is this acetate that has been in my stash. So I'm going to put you on fast forward and we'll see how the layout. Okay, so to get started, I am just looking through the couple 12 by 12, well, not couple, I guess it's 5 12 by 12 sheets that I have from this Oasis collection, and I didn't see one that I wanted to use as the border, and I still have some of the poolside papers left, so I just pulled this from my scraps, and I'm going to use this to do a top and bottom border. I have not scrapbooked in about a week and a half, just from being out of town and being sick as well. So I am going to use a sketch from Stuck Sketches. I think it was maybe in December that we used this sketch, and I forgot to put it into the video, but I'll see if I can link it. It's definitely on my blog though. And the layout is Santa I Can't Explain. That's the one that I am lifting of myself. So I'm just taking a quick peek at what papers there are that I have in that 6x6 pad, and then I'm pulling out the titles to see which title I think I want to use, and I'm going to choose Relaxing. This is a goofy picture of me and my husband. We have a special place on the beach that we love, and we joke that we're old because it has a bunch of rocking chairs on it, and we are just as content. In the morning, you know, we've gone and had breakfast, we have our coffee, we're sipping our coffee, and we're sitting in the rocking chairs and we're watching people and the ocean, because the ocean is just right across from the boardwalk. So it's a beautiful scenery, and people watching, let me just tell you, never gets old in this area. So I wanted to do a funny page, I guess, about it, how we've become those people. So I pulled out the paper pad, or the 6x6 sheet that had a bunch of little sayings on it, and one of them says, I adore this place. And we really do. We love, love, love this place. And it has some blues in it. So I wanted to see what I could do to help bring in some more of that blue so it didn't look so awkward. So one of the things that I did was I took that gradient paper that has pink at the top and blue at the bottom, and I backed the photo with that, and then I'm going to trim this up, and in just a second I'm going to actually make it look like a tag. So I'm going through the things that I want to use on this layout, and I want to make sure that I'm going to get all 5 on the page. So I decided to go ahead and cut the acetate right away, because I felt like that'd be one of those things that I would forget at the end. So I didn't even measure the acetate. I just trimmed it and thought, you know, trimmed it down to whatever I thought looked good. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick down the layers. I did put some craft foam behind the photo just to pop it up. And one of the things that I do with my craft foam is, you know, the little offcuts that I have, I just put in a little dish to the side, and I will just pull those and make it work for some smaller pieces as well. I feel like it's just a good way to make my craft foam just, you know, it's already pretty inexpensive, but it's also another way of just getting more bang for my buck. So I went ahead and I trimmed that little die cut into a tag, and I'm going to go ahead and get the top and the bottom borders adhered to the page. I am going to trim off the bottom somewhat. I wasn't quite sure how large I wanted it. The picture that I'm using is pretty small, so I didn't know how much real estate I really wanted that bottom to have. So I cut it larger, just knowing that I could trim it down. So I know that I want to get these cork hearts also on the page because, again, I feel like if I don't make a conscious effort of putting the things down that I wanted to use, then I will forget. So I just tried to see if I could punch through the cork hearts, but they're a little bit too thick for my heart punches that I have, and I'm trying to think about what I want to do because I feel like that the hearts are a little bit too big, and that's exactly why they are still in my stash. I always forget about it until I go to use them, and then I realize that's why I still have some. They're just a little bit too big for me in what I like to work with. I find that smaller embellishments are so much easier to work onto a page. So I am going to sit and think about how I'm going to address that. I pulled out the die cuts that I had for the Oasis collection to see if I could find anything. I really wanted to use that pink flamingo from the sticker sheet, and then they had the gold flamingo in the die cuts, but both of those were too big, and I was a little bit disappointed. But I end up finding a smaller flamingo on the sticker sheet, and it works perfectly. So I'm thrilled that I'm actually able to get one of these cute flamingos onto the page. So I pulled off that aqua aqua flower from the chipboard sheet, and that's the only piece of chipboard that I work onto this page. But it's okay because the chipboard has been in my stash, and it's something that I like, and at least I was finally able to get a piece onto a layout. So I'm looking at this geotag, and I was trying to figure out if I could get the geotag to work on the tag in a way that I would like, and it just wasn't working. So I just trimmed it up with my scissors and made a rough circle, and I'm going to punch through it and make it a real tag. So it's just a little thing to keep in mind when you have something that you just, you don't like it's not working the way it is manufactured. See if you can change it up a little bit. So this sheet of paper from the Oasis collection may be one of my favorite sheets, and the reason is because these little stamps are perfect. I have used them in a couple of embellishment clusters now, and I love them. There's a bunch of different prints. They have all of the colors that are in the collection represented. So it's so easy to cut a few of the stamps out and work them onto your clusters. So for me, however much you pay, 90 cents, $1 for that pattern paper, I've already used it on at least 2 layouts, and I know that I will use it again. So you see me pointing through the layout. I'm trying to make sure that I am incorporating all of my 5 items onto my layout. Like I said, if I do not really try to make an effort and really pay attention, I will get my page done and then feel like I can't work in the certain things. So I did put a cluster down at the bottom, and I'm going to layer the flamingo over top of 2 of the postage stamps. Now, when I chose my postage stamps, what I tried to do was bring colors down from the right-hand cluster to the left-hand cluster. So I've got a little bit of the blue, I've got a little bit of that darker aqua, the lighter aqua, and the pale pink. So that way things tie together. So I go ahead and get everything stuck down, and I am going to use my T-square ruler just to line up the top edge. It doesn't have to be perfect, but at least I can get it fairly close. So I have used a Lawn Fawn die and cut out smaller hearts. Oh, there's my kitty, Juliet. So I used the Lawn Fawn die, and I cut out smaller hearts from that cork to make the cork hearts work for me. So the last thing that I need to work on the page are the enamel dots, and I was able to get a couple from that one sheet, but it didn't have enough of the colors that I wanted. So I ended up going back into my stash and pulling out a few more sets of enamel dots. For me, the whole part of this series is to use your stash and to at least get one of the items per package that I pulled aside. So if I couldn't get all of the enamel dots from that package, that doesn't matter to me. Just, you know, as long as I'm using my stash when I try to make these challenges for myself, I'm happy. So I went ahead and just punched the hole through the tag, and I am using this gorgeous golden white twine that I found at Target and making a small bow through the top. And I love how this gold is just picking up the gold in the acetate, and the that kind of yellowish craft also is just a pretty blend, and it just looks well. So I'm counting the elements again just to make sure that I have everything, and I do. So the last thing that you will see me do, I think, on screen is adding a little bit of Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine. And I do come back in after the camera is off, because I was going to do my journaling, and when I realized what I wanted my journaling to be, I felt like my title wasn't complete. So I am going to put underneath the relaxing part in little letter stickers that you will see at the close-ups at the end, and rocking. And so the title will be Relaxing and Rocking, and then I have handwritten my journaling underneath to talk about, you know, how we have become those people, you know, those old people that we didn't necessarily make fun of, but it was just always noted. So we are now those people. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us today. If you haven't seen Mari's video, check hers out as well. I will link it in the section below. So thanks so much. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.